topic we're going to be talking about today is on content creation, and that's why I look so colorful, beautiful, because I am so excited to dissect this topic. And I also believe you'll be excited to hear about it because people are always asking me, how do you create, or what's your inspiration, how does it work, and all of that. Don't worry, I'm going to answer every single one of them in this video. So grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and enjoy, because I'm gonna go as deep as I can in dissecting this topic. Before we go into it, I must say that I have always felt reluctant about talking about this particular topic, whether as a video or even telling people one-on-one. And one of the reasons is because I felt like I wasn't a successful creator. And that's because currently on Instagram, I have less than 2,000 followers. On TikTok, I have less than 3,000 followers. On YouTube, I have less than 200 subscribers. On LinkedIn, I have less than 2,000 followers. And I felt like, by the numbers, I'm not one of the most successful people. But I have come to realize that the number is just one way I could tell success. There are other metrics I should look at. Currently, content creation has moved me from where I used to be to where I am right now. I am practically a different person, and one of the reasons why I am who I am today is because I started creating content. So I wouldn't look at the numbers. The numbers is just one metric, and honestly, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. It used to bother me, but it doesn't bother me anymore. What I am more concerned about is, am I speaking value? Am I giving value? Am I a valuable person? What I'm saying, is it helping anybody? 2 weeks ago, someone called me and was talking to me and told me that I was trying to make a particular decision on a particular thing, and I saw your video this morning, and that video was practically saying exactly what I needed. And honestly, that's the success for me. That is God, I hope I don't cry before we finish this video, because I'm getting in my feelings. But honestly, that was more than anybody giving me 50 million followers or anybody giving me a substantial amount of money. To be very honest, that's meant a lot to me, that I have become this vessel that is so valuable and people get inspired by. Honestly, it's humbling. This is not to brag or anything. I say this with utmost humility, and I am so grateful I started this journey, and that is one of the reasons why I'm going to be doing this video anyway. So yes, now we're getting into it properly. I used to write before 2021. I always wrote, like I had things on Medium, WordPress, and all of that. So I've always played in the content space, but I officially started creating video content in 2021, and my first content was on YouTube. I'm sure if you see that video saved today, you would laugh. But I never really got serious with it. I started getting consistent in content creation, I think in either May or June of 2023. That was when I started creating a video every day. Like I will batch create, and then I will post a video every day or every other day. Sometimes I will do Sunday to Sunday. Sometimes I will just do Monday to Friday. Sometimes there was a time I was doing Monday to Saturday. And I can say that by June this year, it's going to make it 2 years that I have been consistently creating content day after day, week after week. Honestly, even I don't clap for me, even me, I'll clap for myself, because what? That is so much hard work, and I am super proud of where I am now. Now that you know where I started, it's important for you to know why I started. I started creating content because I actually genuinely love providing legal education for people. I felt like a lot of people, especially in Nigeria, are not very educated in the legal aspect. Like you meet very intelligent people who would make wrong decisions when it comes to the legal part of their business, or even the legal part of their life. Because business came from like 2022, 2023 after my master's degree, but I was just interested in creating legal education for people, educating people who were not lawyers, who will never go to law school or did not have the opportunity or privilege of going to law school, to understand the basic concept of the law. And that was why I started. And like I said earlier, I used to create on WordPress, I used to write on Medium. I have a couple of articles online. When I realized that people were not really reading as much and video content were doing well, and it looked cool, I decided to start creating video content. And that was how I got Yeah, at first I thought it was going to be very easy. I mean, is it not just to sit in front of the camera, look pretty, and just talk? But honestly, content creation, like any other job in the world, it is so much work. Like, you have to put in the work. Like, the first video you create might not be hard, it might be but by the time you have to keep creating every day. Consistency is not a joke. Now, I will tell you the side of content creation nobody sees. I sit here now and I look pretty, and you know, I look like I'm smiling, I'm so happy. I'm actually very happy shooting this video, but not in every video that I'm smiling I'm happy. There are times I have mad headaches, but I have to shoot. Not because anybody will beat me if I do not shoot that content, but because I've made a commitment to myself and I cannot afford to disappoint myself. Currently, I have two very bright lights facing me directly. It's not a very comfortable or convenient experience. Before I learned how to set my light, I used to put the light directly in my eyes. So you can imagine how I'm shooting content, I'm smiling, and then there's this blazing light that is just beaming in my front. There are times I have creator's block. I do not even know, what do I want to talk about? Oh my God, what should I talk about? For instance, as a business lawyer or a business law educator, I keep talking about contract, the importance of contract. Every single time I have to think, oh, how do I ensure that I talk about contract in a fresh way, in another perspective, and it doesn't sound like the last video I made on contract. You know, that's just one example. So many times it's just crazy. There are times that I look at the videos I've done before and I create another video, same topic, but I just find another analogy, I just find another story. There are times when I do not feel like shooting, I am not in the mood. There are times when I'll press my shooter and my shooter will not press. I'll just keep on talking, and only to realize that I wasn't shooting anything, and you know, I have to start shooting that content all over again. If I laughed at some point, I have to try and recreate that laughter again. You know, it's just crazy. Like, for instance, when I was gonna start this video, I forgot to turn on my mic. That happens a whole lot. There are days I've shot a complete, you know, a complete set of videos, because there are some videos I shoot in sets. I've shot a complete set of videos without turning on my mic. There are times I forget to charge my mic. There are times, you know, so many things happen, and you know, like, I've tried to put steps in place not to miss anything, but it's not easy. And every single time you have to shoot a content, it's like you're starting all over. It's not like any other job. Like, there's no template. Yes, you might have, okay, this is how I do it, but you know, you want to improve, so you're like, let me add this, let me try this. Anybody that creates content back to back and they're consistent, whether it's even once a week, but they're creating content and they're consistent, I salute them all. In fact, content creation made me to start appreciating actors, actresses, anybody that works in any form of video production. They remember their lines, they still have all the emotions and all of that, and I'm like, how do you guys do it? How? Just shooting a sit-down video where I'm just talking to the camera. Obviously, I show some emotions, but most of them come naturally because I'm just talking. Now imagine someone that, you know, you're acting it. You're acting. Me, I'm not even acting my own. You're acting it, you know. So content creation helps me to really appreciates creatives in the creative space. It's not an easy task that any one of them is doing. So now let's talk about numbers. One of the things when people see content creators is to go and look, oh, how many followers do you have? How many followers do you have? Especially if you're trying to be an influencer, that might be very important, especially if you're trying to position yourself to get brand deals and all of those things. But if you're an upcoming creator, I would advise that you shouldn't look at that number. I used to look at the numbers and it used to bother me a lot, like, our numbers are not growing. But now I honestly do not care. In fact, sometimes I don't want it to grow. Like, not like I don't want it to grow, but I'm scared of it growing, like just booming. Because currently there's a tone in my comment section. There's a way people in my comments respond. There's a way a content does. But I know that by the time the numbers just expand or explode, it's going to welcome another set of people that I don't know. I don't know how they think. I don't know how they reason. Honestly, I know that anybody that follows me now, they are very intentional. Like, you're very intentional. You're like, oh, these are the kind of things I want to be seeing on this space. That's why I'm following this person. So I know I have to keep giving that kind of person value because I appreciate what they have done. But I wouldn't want a situation where like 50 people are following me at once, and then in the comments they are fighting, or they are insulting people, or they are saying it's a lie, you don't know what you're saying, you know, that kind of thing. Like they're talking disrespectfully and all of that. So I think as much as the numbers are good, just focus on the numbers of content you're able to create. I think that's the number that matters the most. Now, let's talk about content creation and money. I don't know where this idea came from, that one of the easiest ways to make money in Nigeria is from content creation. It's true. I agree that it is true, but it's not very true. It's not a general notion. There are people who content creation is their source of livelihood, and they are doing very well for themselves, and I honestly admire them. Like, that's fantastic. You found your own path, and that is good. But you need to understand that not everybody's path is going to go like that. If you're getting into content creation because of money, there's a very high chance you'll be very disappointed. When I was starting content, I wanted to position myself like the aproko doctor of law. That was my intention at the time. Though it wasn't particularly my intention, but when I started, that was what a lot of people were saying. And oh, it would be cool to be the aproko doctor of law. But while I was doing it, I realized that no, that's not my path. I'm not even interested. I want to run my business. I want to make money for my business. And I also want to provide legal education. Let me just find a way to marry both of them together. And that is what I'm doing now. I'm more focused on my business, getting clients, than getting brand deals. If brand deals come, fine, I'm happy to take it. But that's not what I'm positioning for. And I'm so intentional about it. But if you're saying, oh, you want to start out as an influencer and all of that, you have to know, okay, you want to be an influencer. What do you want to influence? How do you want to influence? And you need to remember, consumers are a lot smarter. There was a time that if an influencer say, oh, buy this product, everybody will rush to go and buy it. But now people are like, you that you've collected 5 million naira, I beg you, it's not my money. So if people are paying influencers now, most brands are paying influencers now for brand awareness, not even to ensure that, okay, they are going to sell or get conversion. There are only a few influencers now that will get you conversion, and there are certain types of products that will get conversion. So you have to be very realistic. What do you want? How are you positioning? And that's going to determine the kind of content you should be creating and how you should position yourself on the social media space. I must say that content creation has done a lot of fantastic things for me. Content creation, first of all, has increased my confidence. Gosh, I wasn't this confident when I started creating content. I wasn't this vocal when I started creating content. Now you can ask me to explain something in 1 minute, maybe a legal concept, and I will do it, because I've created 30 seconds Instagram reels that are able to still pass message and communicate accurately. If there's a part of content creation that is bittersweet for me, it is going viral. As much as I love virality, I mean, when I first started creating content in 2023, I was always chasing virality. But right now, honestly, sometimes virality makes me anxious. In fact, in a month now, at least we'll go viral at least once, or sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times, depending on the content. And one thing about virality is the content you least expect that goes viral. But my problem with virality is virality exposes me and my content to people who do not understand my language, people who do not comprehend what I'm saying, people who do not listen to understand, people who just want to listen to respond. And honestly, sometimes it gives me panic attack, it gives me anxiety, like, oh my God, what kind of questions are these people asking? What's happening and all of that? But I know it comes with the terrain, and my skin is getting thicker. You know, going viral makes me think of bigger creators like Diary of a Kitchen Lover and so many other people. I'm like, how do they do it? It makes me think of times when they will be dragging a Aproko doctor on Twitter, and I'm like, and this man, you will still show up again the next day, you know. And it's helping me build a thick skin. It's helping me to understand that, you know, everybody will not like what you're doing. Even if you think what you're doing is good, everybody won't like it, and that is okay. I'm not really comfortable going viral, but I think I have to get comfortable because the virality keeps coming more and more these days. And if you have any tips on how to get comfortable going viral, please let me know in the comments. So now, if you're thinking of creating content and you're like, where do I start from? How do I start now with what you have. If all you have is the phone in your hand, no extra lights like me, start like that. Don't wait till, when I buy this light, when I buy that microphone. Start creating content where you are now. Build consistency, and then as you go along, you start to accumulate the other gadgets that you need to create content. You don't need to rent a studio. You don't need to have a face full of makeup like me. I didn't used to do this before. I intentionally just started doing this now, and there's a reason why. So just start with what you have. Start how you are. Start where you are. Start it. Please don't chase virality. I used to chase virality when I first started, and I'm so grateful to God that I moved from chasing virality to moving to creating value. And I want to watch videos and be inspired by myself. I want to, be motivated by myself. I'm not chasing virality. I'm just chasing delivering value. One question people always ask me is, how do you know what to say? How do you always have what to say? How do you always stay inspired? The truth is, I read a lot. I consume a lot of content, quality content, not just any kind of content. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. My favorite app is YouTube. I'm always listening to people that have better things to say than me. I surround myself too with quality set of people, so that works also. And I observe a lot. I listen a lot. I listen more than I speak if we're in a conversation. I don't want to have the loudest voice. I want to hear what you have to say, because I might get an inspiration from it. A long time ago, a friend and I were driving somewhere, and we saw a truck carrying Coca-Cola products. It fell to the ground, and all the drinks in it just poured. And I started thinking of insurance, business insurance. I started looking at what's liability and everything. That was one inspiration to create a video. Sometimes I'll see something that happened on social media and I'll just put it together. I try not to say, this thing that happened, I won't talk about it. No, I would just give my own advice outside of it. I research a lot, and that's because I know I cannot pour from an empty cup. I have to be full. I have to have content in me for me to pour those content out. And I thank God, yes, God gives me a lot of inspiration. Sometimes some ideas will come and I'll be like, no, this couldn't have been me. I trust God for my ideas a lot. Finally, if you've decided that you want to be creating content, I would first of all say, do it for you. Don't do it for anybody. Don't do it because you're trying to be like somebody. Don't do it because they said it's profitable. Don't do it because of anything, but because of you, because that's what you want to do. That's what you want to spend your time doing. Don't try to make your content like anybody's content. You can be inspired by somebody and say, oh yeah, their content is nice, but don't tailor your content to look exactly like somebody else's content. Be yourself. Be as original and as unique as you can be. Don't create content you're not comfortable with. Also, I don't create any form of lifestyle content. I do not create any form of family content, and that's very, very intentional. And I like my style of content. I like the sit down videos. It's me talking to the camera. I totally enjoy it. Anytime I try to create any content outside of it, I struggle. So why should I be struggling when I can come here and just be flourishing? I genuinely enjoy creating this kind of content. So find what you enjoy creating and create that thing you enjoy creating. I pray your journey is easier than mine. My journey has been smooth, has been easy. I've gotten support, I've gotten help here and there, but I pray your journey is a lot easier than mine. So, and you enjoy your journey. I want you to enjoy it. You should enjoy your journey. Away from the numbers, away from the money and every other thing people say. Content creation, if you're creating quality content, will change you as a person, and it will develop your life and your mindset. And I totally recommend it. And with that, we've come to the end of this episode of Build with Temi. And I really hope someone got inspired to pick up their phone and start creating content. Honestly, believe I'm living in my purpose. I don't think that I should be doing something else. I wouldn't have liked it if I was just creating content and I wasn't a lawyer, but I'm glad that I have been able to find a very sweet middle spot where I can combine being a lawyer with being a content creator. I totally love it, and I am so grateful that I found my own thing. And yeah, I'm actually very happy. I'm very happy. If you have any stories you want to share with me, feel free to send an email to buildwithtemi@gmail.com. You can also put your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you've learned from your own journey if you're creating content. Also, if you're not creating content, feel free to share your journey as well. I would love to read from you. And yeah, thank you. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Until you see my beautiful face again next week, I remain Temitope Odeyinka. Bye.